nature.
You are live on the internet.
Hello, internet. So
Why did Graham just drop and look like a little child?
I have
I don't know.
The camera did.
decided to go into business for myself.
Hey.
So the name of the company is going to be SDH Beverage Solutions. Currently have 2 clients. I have a third client that there is a verbal agreement with that I need to do the contract first, so I'm not going to announce them. And there are another six people I'm talking to right now.
Nice.
So a few portfolios. Some may be upfront money, some may commission based. Like all of it, it's moving parts, right? It's
What's was any of them of the 6 you're in communication with was one the one I gave you?
no, it is not. It is not. Nothing there.
They have a certain court case they have to take care of first.
Well, I mean, one of them also that I will have just took care of their court case. And now, who knows who those brands I'm ultimately going to go with. They have to be a right fit for me, too. I need to feel like I can impact the market with them.
And they also have to not
Pulling up the right one.
compete with the rest of your portfolio and violate
Precisely.
any of your other contracts. I mean,
Right.
you have to, cross compare all of those contracts pretty much every time.
Yeah, and now there will be some scenarios in which there will be, like I already currently represent, a bourbon brand, right? There's a group that I'm talking to that also has a bourbon, but that bourbon's also much higher priced.
Right.
So, and also the whiskeys aren't necessarily the focal point of what
they're trying to do. Yeah.
Right, precisely. And I'm just, the only thing I can tell everybody is that currently I have On Your Six as a client, and I have Poggio Costa Prosecco as a client. Those I can definitively say. The others I am still working on. It's been
1 week.
Been. We have set up the website. We're getting ready to launch
It is
that.
10:04, Taylor. Get bent.
We are going to launch
Suck it.
everything on LinkedIn and all that good stuff.
course,
and kind of
yeah.
make those official. I've already put out just the logo of the hand holding the glass with the cigar. I've just put that on LinkedIn, said coming soon.
Nice. I like that teaser. That's
Yeah.
a tickle right there,
We've
bud.
been live for 3 minutes and 39 seconds, motherfucker.
Oh,
Sorry, just because you paid for an opinion doesn't mean you didn't pay for consequences.
Well,
Forgot to read the fine print.
Fine print.
don't annoy producer Mel. There's a few
Funny,
thoughts.
when he does, he pays more money for it. I think he likes it.
So I have a few thoughts on this as a whole.
Getting bent, ma'am.
So I'm both equally excited. Like, this is very cool. And
Going rogue.
I'm excited that there's already a lot of people with interest in me. There are a lot of, to say it, I guess the only way I can realize, there's a lot of fans of me, right? There are people who like what I do, want to see me succeed, and actively want to support me on either an account buyer level to a brand level to distributors. There's just everyone has come out of the woodwork to be like, fuck yeah, we're Team Sammy. Like, let's do this.
So our bosses always say it, right? But we know that it's the boffins in the corner with the pocket protectors that push business. Mm-hmm. But our bosses always say it's a relationship-based business. I said, it is when you need something.
Right.
When I need something, from y'all, fuck your accounts. We can't do that.
Right. We can't be out there.
Exactly. But for us on the street, for those that pound the pavement, for us that do this job, it is about relationships.
Absolutely.
And I'm proud to say the two of us are very fucking good at it. And you are part of the reason that I'm so fucking good at it.
Yeah, thank you, by the way. I appreciate that.
But you've always said that, and Mel actually, I think, had the quote to begin with. And I've recently adopted this about myself. A lot of people are good at a lot of things. There's carpenters, there's arguers, there's like actual, debaters. There's
They're masters at it.
People skilled with their hands in other ways.
We saw what you did.
People that are good at fucking.
We're continuing it going.
Yeah. People that are good at fucking,
Right.
there's all that kind of stuff, right? In this world. our skill collectively
Will there be merch? I mean,
is
Could
that
be.
we're very good collectors of people.
Right.
We've got a guy for everything. We'd give the shirt off our back for 99% of them, and we know that they would do the same for us because we're good at building relationships.
Yeah.
We think that's why, like, us and Julia get along so well. Like, she's a perfect fit for our family, and based on the stories she's told us, she got lucky too with us. Some of the host families, like she shared some private au pair messages about how terrible some of these people are.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
And so it's I pride myself on that, on being able to read people, on being open enough to be read, and collecting a good circle.
Yeah.
And it's just a testament to your career. It's a testament to you. And now instead of making them cunts money, you make yourself some money for a change.
Yeah, and that
Can't
leads.
fire yourself.
That also leads me to the second thought, where I am exhilarated and excited. I am also bloody fucking terrified.
Of course.
Right now. It's at 52 years old, you are thinking about
You're just a deck of cards.
the end of the career, not starting a new fucking business. Now, do I have faith in myself that I can do it? Yes, or else I would not be.
Yeah, but you didn't start
following
your
this
career
venture.
till you were 40, so
Yeah, in my 30s.
But the good thing is, for the type of business you're doing, and this hopefully will put a little arm around you, there's little to no overhead. It's your
Right.
startup costs for your LLC.
Yeah.
Obviously your gas.
Yeah.
Until for a month and a half until the commission checks start rolling in, or that first
Right.
thank you for your services this month check.
$300 for a website.
Right. So I mean,
The wife is free.
what I'm saying in terms of starting a business, like if you were to open a store,
There's a
you'd be
lot.
$600,000 in debt
Right.
immediately.
Exactly.
You're $3,500 in debt, which sucks.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, but should hopefully okay. If it fails, you're only out $3,500.
Right,
Yeah.
Precisely.
You could go to 7-Eleven and be gainfully employed again to pay off that $3,500.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So that's not the end of the world. If you're $600,000 in debt and you had to go start a minimum wage job, that's never going away. You're dying with that
Right.
debt.
Right. Precisely.
So you know what I'm saying? It's
Although literally he's calling the company BS. Bullshit.
Ever Solutions.
Yeah, bullshit.
I like that.
Samuel Dallas Houston, bullshits.
It's a true salesman.
That's what I do.
It's perfect.
But it's awesome, dude. It is terrifying. I get it because it's now it's just on you.
Yeah.
Now if you're having a shit day and you don't go sell, you don't go make money.
Right. Right.
You have to do that.
And like I said, there's a mix. There's going to be some where it's contracts where I'm getting paid like a monthly stipend, and maybe there's some bonus on the side. But others are going to be straight up commission, paid for events, things of that. It's a lot of nickel and diming, right? Which I've been very used to a world of. You make six figures, and then there's 20% bonus on top of that if you
Taylor
hit your
wants
fucking
me
numbers.
to come up with a better than Diageo shirt.
Better than Diageo's shirt.
I like
I
that.
don't mind that one bit. Right now, not hard to be better than
Houston's
Diageo.
betting can cover the startup cost. Hey, wait until you listen to the other half of Soundcheck. You don't know which Houston you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that.
But I get it. It's terrifying. I understand it's terrifying. That is. I've always said the stress that my bosses put on me. I wish I had the nuts to risk it all to go start my own shit.
Right.
Because I'd have to put my house up, but probably both houses up.
Yeah.
I'd have to put everything up to fund what I wanted to do.
Right.
Right. To start that up. Because I would have to buy an existing business, improve upon that business, and buy enough inventory to lower prices.
Right.
And hopefully buy the property. So I need 1.2, 1.4 million to get that accomplished.
Right.
So I would like literally sink my entire future if it failed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just don't have the cojones for that. I wish I had the balls to do it, because I would rather have stress that I create for myself. I think it's healthier stress than the stress somebody else puts on you. And inside, you know it's wrong and you know you shouldn't care.
Right.
But your future at this company depends upon it, and you have to do it, and you have to grin and bear it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a double stress. There's the stress of the actual task, and then there's the stress of I can't even express myself here, or else I'll get in trouble.
Right.
And possibly lose this job.
Right.
the stress you create for yourself is, if today sucks, I'm not going to, fire myself.
Right.
I'm going to look myself in the mirror tomorrow morning and go, you need to do better.
Yeah, get the fuck back
And
out there
then
and
go do
again.
better.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just your stress. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's, in a way, freeing.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just.
But also, if you're not hustling, you ain't making any money.
Yeah,
So it's also
exactly.
a little stressful in that way,
that's
of
been the
course.
hard part here is, I've got lots of people interested. I need to get contracts
Yep.
and I need to see money coming in, and that's needs to start fucking happening,
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm fairly confident that is going to happen and that there will be those opportunities, but getting there, that's the scary part. And like I said, if I wasn't confident in myself to do it, I would not do it. I would have gone and gotten a job at Total or something like that and just done whatever I needed to do to make some money.
Right, and then still, apply at other places, like blah blah blah. But
Right.
you needed some money coming in. It's
Yeah.
fine.
And at some
Everybody's
point, it's just
been
like, and at some point, it was just like, fuck it, I got to do this. Like, this is
And
it.
did you what? To make money for other people, for
Right.
them to then fire you again in 3 years because there's a high turnover in the
And
level that
on
you're
his
doing.
side of the business, yeah.
Whereas you can just do it for you. You can sell your passion and your contacts and your IP, and it's you.
Yeah. Yeah. And
There's something so freeing about that as someone that said, fuck the system 14 years ago.
yeah. Oh.
14 years? No, 10 years ago.
I wish we still went out on songs because System of a Down, fuck the system, of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
that would be,
Yeah. Yeah.
But the
I got tired of other people making money off of my talent.
Yeah. But so what my last thought about this is I've only run up against one other independent contractor that represented multiple brands. I'm not going to say his name. One of the biggest piece of shits in this business, in my experience. He lied to us, and then he also lied to the retailers differently when we worked with him.
Wow.
So nobody knew what the fuck was going on, and we were blindsided during presentations.
Oh, Jesus.
So the guy was just a piece of shit all around, and it's no surprise I don't see him out on the street no more.
Yeah. That's the one
So-
thing. To a fault, I'm an open book. So.
But you network well, man. You made a name for yourself.
Yeah, that's what I.
People
that I
like
really
him.
have to,
He's a charming motherfucker. I'll put that on a t-shirt, Taylor.
You know why on-premise people always get those promotions and off to the cool gigs is because y'all are out in the bars wheeling and dealing and talking to people. The same place the bosses are at.
Yeah, it's true.
They're
Very
not
true.
sitting in my liquor store at 8 a.m. with people outside scratching when the only part of the store open is the check cashing bit. Mm-hmm. They're not doing that.
Waiting to get that bottle of Ultimate.
That's what I'm saying.
of Bowman's.
That's it. When's Jeff Roth hanging out down there?
Yeah,
How do
true.
I get on his radar to move up?
You don't.
Right, unless the numbers are there. But if you're out at the bars with them all night because you got the fucking expense account, it's a lot easier to make relationships.
Well, that expense
When y'all
account
make a
now
fucking
is,
a tenth of what we do
that
on the street.
expense account now is a lot tighter. Well, as a motherfucker, I'm in the off-premise channels a lot.
Now you are, yeah.
Been in the off-premise channels well before I went into the brand side of the business. It was just when I was at the same building you were, I was always in on-premise. But there you have it, everybody. Big announcement. Houston has started his own fucking company, and it's a thing. Yeah, that's about what I could say about it. I'll give updates as I get more clients, things of that nature. But the website will get launched soon. I will post that on all socials for everybody as well, so that they can track my successes and or failures. So there we have it.
Oh, we got to make a reality show out of it, right? Get the cameras rolling.
Aren't we? Isn't that what we're doing now?
Yeah. You got to put a GoPro on his chest.
That would just be me videoing all the time. That's just creepy. Do you know how many of his legs, stomach, ass you'd be seeing all day? Mm-hmm. Just him scratching his balls on the couch.
Don't film all of it. Oh, shit.
There we go.
All righty.
Are you ready for it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Ready, Graham?
Yep.
Hey, it's Brad Parker, Crystal Palace fan, and you are listening to the Drunkard United Football Show. It's a parade.
I mean, you're goddamn right it's a parade. Sorry, Russ. Not sorry, Russ.
Not sorry, Russ, at all, actually.
Like, the world is happier, right?
Oh, big time.
and
Everyone except one of Brentford, Fulham, or Brighton.
Yeah. Well, and I also imagine none of them are sober yet at all.
No,
Let's
they better
start
not
the
be.
Show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston. Sam Houston? Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Snub of my lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey. Sam Graham. Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, a man who just never gets a chance to network.
Oh, the
That's
Screaming
what it
Eagle,
is.
baby.
My co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham. How you doing over there, brother?
Doing very well, thank you very much. And no, I don't get a chance to network because I'm out there funding our business altogether.
Or siring 4 daughters.
True. I've been fucking.
Because typically when you're networking, it's at night and you're...
Oh, I'm busy. Yeah, fornicating. Like a cool guy. Not out juggling my boss's balls, you know?
Uh-huh. What, am I juggling my own balls?
Well,
'Cause
now,
I'm my
yeah,
own boss.
now it would be. Yes.
I'm my own boss, damn
Now
it.
it's no longer called masturbating.
Yeah, very good.
It's right off.
And on the ones and twos.
It's a business meeting.
And on the ones and twos, producer Mel, how you doing over there?
Oh, I'm great.
One bottle of
is-
Jergens.
She is fucking feisty today.
I am multiple beverage Mel tonight. I've got Merity on one side, and I guess we're going to get to this one eventually.
Moretto tea. Not.
Merity!
Is that the Peruvian one that sends you to space?
And no, she's putting amaretto in iced tea now.
Oh.
Remember, she has a close personal relationship with amaretto.
Di Serrano, yeah.
She doesn't call it amaretto. It's Moretto.
It's
Right.
Moretto.
Oh, and by the way,
Moretto tea. Moretto tea.
it ain't no Di
You gotta
Serrano.
say it like
Di
Unity.
Amore?
It's Di Amore.
Oh, no.
Get that half-gallon plastic bottle that fits in the shelf perfectly.
Well, start asking me for it, and I'll get it for you at cost.
Very
It's one of
good.
mine. Okay?
Oh, I know it is.
What is it, May?
You better be buying it from my stores. That's my point. Help
Yeah.
my depletions.
I've been
All
through
right,
a
I'll help your
handle since
depletions.
February,
Yeah, that's fine.
and I don't drink.
Except daily.
No, Amaretto, not Bailey's. Amaretto.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get your pods. And, of course, streaming live every single Monday night. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Should you want to get in touch with us, Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can do it.
Just don't.
www.dserrano.com.
Save yourself
Just leave a
some time.
review. Go to D'Amore on your flip phone because they probably don't have a website.
Hashtag
Sorry.
Moretti.
That's funny. No, it's at DU Football Show on all the social media, of course, and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
Very good. Multiple beverage Mel.
It's been a while
MBM.
since I've been multiple beverage Mel. I haven't even gone to the fridge yet.
MBM.
You were multiple things on Saturday during the Preakness. That's for damn sure.
Huh?
Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. The gin binge continues. Mr. Graham, what do we got in front of us tonight?
So I've got Aviation, Ryan Reynolds' old gin, and Hugh Jackman. Didn't he own part of it or no? I don't remember. No, he had something different, and they were like competing about it.
Aviation Gin was originally owned by Westward Single Malt. It was
it?
House Spirits Inc. They sold it to Ryan Reynolds.
To Ryan Reynolds, and then he sold it on to Diageo, I think, for just under $1 billion.
Yep.
Close to that.
Sure did.
Yeah, it's a classic little American gin. Still fairly juniper forward from what I remember, but a ton of citrus in there as well. But we also have, as promised, some Simply Pineapple, because gin and juice, y'all, but pineapple juice. And then going, as ever, with the Fever Tree premium tonic water.
Yeah.
Well, this started because we were at a liquor thing learning about Pisco, and the guy was talking about how Pisco and tonic and pineapple is fantastic, and how Pisco and gin are very close together. And I went, gin and pineapple? And then Sam went, gin, pineapple, and tonic? Let's try it.
And it's delicious.
Tastes fucking great. It tastes fucking great.
Yep. It actually is easier to get down than lemon or lime.
Yeah.
It highlights the.
The fuck was that?
Somebody belched.
I did not.
That was who?
I don't know who. Might have been me. Might have been you. But
Whoever
somebody-
smelt it
I
dealt
started
it.
talking. I started talking, so it couldn't have
I
been me.
assumed it was Greg because I looked right at him.
Oh, anyways,
I was already looking at you, though.
kids, let's keep the fucking thing moving here. All right, it's all right. Now, it'll be the great mystery that Taylor and Christian and the rest and Shore Billy, they'll all figure it out on their own. What I like here is that it highlights all the good things about juniper, not the bad things, right? It's like there's this big boldness to it that's not overly bitter, so you get that pine, but there's no big bitter bite on the back end.
Right.
The citrus in this really plays well.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, very simple tonic water. Don't do anything over.
No, because
the
you want
moon.
it to stand out.
Right. And the quinine is not that kind of chalky, earwaxy that a quinine can kind of have to it. It's a fabulous little drink. I love it. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, I'm sold on it. Yeah. This is great.
It brings out the flavors in the pineapple that remind me of the Depeche.
Okay, very good.
All
Yeah,
right.
okay, I
Yeah.
get you on that. Yeah.
Just a little bit of that fermented and brings a little bit of rye. It just accentuates different parts of the pineapple that you wouldn't get from any other alcohol.
Graham, I assume that's about to be on the quota sheet again.
Probably at some point.
Yeah, we'll take care of one of those cases for you.
Sounds good. The last thing I wanted to do before we started everything was MBM. Doesn't that sound like the world's shittest computer company?
Yeah, it kind of does.
Like they have no, hard drive, but they get rammed somehow. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yes.
That's an IT joke, Mel. Okay. Thanks.
What else should we always do, Mr. Graham?
Drink responsibly, which I clearly did not because I thought that was funny.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh, finally got a good tink out of the tall glass.
Well, the first tink you and I did was
That
pretty
wasn't-
decent.
yeah,
So
it
it wasn't terrible.
I was still disappointed.
We open with the FA Cup final, and it feels glad all over to know City will be trophyless this season. Crystal Palace 1, Manchester City 0. First major cup in 119 years for Crystal Palace. And before we get to the actual game, this was their path to get here. In the third round, it was Stockport who they beat. Then it was Doncaster. That was at Doncaster. Not for nothing. Stockport, a team that made the playoffs in League One. Doncaster won League Two. Then a London derby at Millwall, where Mateta basically got his head taken off in the first 18 seconds of the match. Then another London derby with Fulham, only to then see in the semifinals probably the hottest team in England at the time, Aston Villa, and then defeat the Giants, Manchester City, in the final to win the whole thing. They bloody fucking earned it.
100% they did. I mean, what a game, just in general.
Had everything. Everything you want in a match.
Now, more so because of the result, obviously. But you've got to give credit to the tactics and the execution of those tactics to Crystal Palace. It was, they picked their opportunities and prodded. They weren't without chances, but they were like the same exact thing that we praised Forrest for in the middle of January.
Yep.
After their start to the season and sort of continuing that after the weird schedule, where we're not going to be an ugly team. We're not just going to sit back and defend at all.
Right.
And that's all we do.
When we're back in defense, we're going to be putting in hard tackles. We're going to be intercepting passes because we're going to take that and immediately turn it into
a counter. And it was a slick move that got them to where they were. An excellent cross, of course. And it all really comes down to when Mateta kind of checks that run when he peeled off. Because he could have kept going, but he kind of realized he was a touch isolated. So he checks that, comes back into who's the...
Munoz is who had the assist.
I know, but who's the Asian midfielder?
Oh, I'm forgetting his name.
Kamada. Lays it off to Kamada, which gives Munoz the time to get up the pitch. Kamada plays it back to him. He turns and then plays that lovely ball down the line. And Eze busting a gut to get there. Got behind the defense and that corridor of uncertainty. Yet, what's his name? Goalkeeper,
Ortega.
Not sure whether or not to come out. Defenders couldn't make a tackle because they would have put it in their own net. And then bang, as is Johnny on the spot.
Not without controversy in the first half.
Oh, yeah.
Dean Henderson undoubtedly
should have seen red.
Used his hand outside the box. It was absolutely a red card.
Oh, yeah.
Undoubtedly spot on a red card. They looked at it and said it wasn't a clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity
because Holland was going away from
well, here's the thing. It was the ball, it was Holland, and it was the goalie. That is the very definition of final person goal scoring opportunity. Because if he gets past the goalkeeper, there's no one there.
No.
It was absolutely, positively should have been a red card. VAR should have given him a red. No doubt in my mind of all of that. And not a single fucking one of us that isn't a City supporter
give a
fuck. Yeah. Not one singular fuck.
Absolutely.
I think all of soccer fandom that is not a City supporter went about fucking time they got fucked over.
Yeah.
And did not care one single solitary bit.
Now, I think they should have 5 of their charges knocked off as a consolation prize.
I want the FA to come out and apologize and say they got it wrong just to be assholes. just so they have to swallow that bitter fucking pill.
Well, and you saw what happened after the game as well.
That shit happen all the time.
Right.
After the game, I know there was a little bit of yippee yapping with Pep and Dino
and Dean Henderson. So he walked up to shake his hand, and Pep just wagged his finger in the face like, don't come up to me. And then he went like this and kind of made a hand gesture and looked like he was yelling a bit. And Henderson said he thought that he was talking about the time wasting yellow card. And he was like, I mean, y'all got your 10 minutes, so no hard feelings.
Fucking love
was
that
his
shit.
response.
Yeah.
10 minutes of stoppage time.
Well, and then he would be called upon. Now, he made a bunch of saves throughout the match, but
I had the over on 3 saves in this, with 3+, and he had 5 in the first half. That would have been easy money if I took it by itself, but I didn't. I added a bunch of other shit and missed one leg.
Of course you did.
Yeah,
of course
that's how it went.
Now, one would say that penalty was probably a makeup call because there was contact. It was soft as fuck.
Well, but the problem is Bernardo Silva is vastly experienced.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
He made the contact look a lot worse. He took the right tumble. He did it at the right time. And the only prayer was that Tyreek Mitchell didn't get a stud to the ball.
Yeah.
Which he didn't. We've all been, it's nailed on pen, but we as center backs and as defenders, I've been in that situation multiple times. You get that stud on it, fair dues. You don't, it's a pen. And he was terribly unlucky because I'm sure it was the length of a bee's dick away from touching that ball. Mm-hmm. He just couldn't stretch that leg far enough, and it's unfortunate, but it's a pen.
There was Erling Haaland standing there with the ball as VAR was doing its check, and you know he's getting ready. Oh no, wait, he handed it to Marmoush.
Well, because so teams do that now because oppositions will surround the penalty taker and try to put him off. Odegaard does it for us. And Declan's done it once or twice where they'll grab the ball and hold it.
I've seen that,
and then hand it over to Saka.
But if Erling Haaland has his hands on the ball, you have to assume he's been their penalty taker all year.
Correct.
He's the man that's going to take the penalty.
But I think part of the problem is he's missed 3 this year.
He's missed some, yeah. He has missed some.
He's missed 3 this year. So he hands it to Marmoush.
And Marmoush lines up to take it. Dino with the save.
Dean Henderson almost
Dino made a double save on that, too, because Erling Haaland came in and chipped it back into the middle, and from the ground spun the other way, got a hand up and pulled it in.
Yep. So the penalty, I think he struck it well. Mm-hmm. The ball was moving.
He just put it the wrong. You can't put it at that height.
It's a very comfortable height for the goalkeeper.
Exactly where the keeper wants it.
And he telegraphed the absolute fuck out of it. Henderson almost dove past the ball. Mm-hmm. If you look back,
he threw his trailing hand.
It was his trailing hand, and it was almost above. It wasn't even like fully extended.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? He almost dove past that ball. It was.
Yeah.
It wasn't the best penalty, but I think he struck it well. I mean, if that's an inch above, it deflects off Henderson's wrist. You know what I mean? But Henderson did a brilliant job. Yeah. But he shouldn't have been on the pitch. Mm-hmm. He shouldn't have been on the pitch.
And none of us fucking care.
No, absolutely fucking not. Because you're not going to remember it for that. You know what I think? I think the people at the end, because he should have got man of the match, in my opinion. Although it was Daniel Munoz, which also deserved.
Very deserved.
Don't get me wrong. He in his own right, saving a penalty is another level. Dodging the long arm of the law is excellent. But I think the powers that be just kind of went, don't draw any more attention to it.
Yeah.
Just people forget about this because of the romance.
Right.
Pep will just be standing in a square screaming at the brick wall.
Right.
And
into the second half, City could never crack the code.
Nah.
They just couldn't, if anything.
But it was more Dean Henderson excellence, and it was more defensive excellence. I mean,
that's what I was going to get at.
Mark Gahey and Lacroix with a phenomenal game.
Gahey had to even leave the game early, too, with an injury.
And Chris Richards was in.
Richards played out of his fucking mind. It seemed like every ball that fell inside the box, it was Chris Richards clearing it out. So, the midfield was doing their job, getting behind the ball, making blocks, and it would just it'd fall into the middle of the box where normally at least somebody for City pokes it away, and nope, Richards' ball was gone.
Yeah.
And it was an just perfect defensive performance from Palace. They offered City nothing. And yeah, Dean had to make some saves. He had to make some big saves. Never really felt like City was going to score there. Once you got to about the 70th minute, you were like, Palace is going to hold on to this fucking thing.
Oh, yeah.
Palace is going to win this fucking game.
I had a lot of confidence in that. I mean, I think probably at halftime I was like, there's no chance. City's done. That's it. And they acted again like petulant little children, right? I mean, Pep's only got a year now left on his contract again, right? He's only signed for 2 or a 1 year extension or something. It can't be that much money to sack him. And you got to think, I mean, with the $2 billion squad or something, they know he's not going to renew after this.
Right.
Why not cut your loss?
Yeah.
Why give him more money to spend?
Revamp it now.
And because a Pep assembled squad is so nuanced, and the perfect system exists, and he buys these players for one very specific purpose and all that kind of stuff, right? And if one of those things break down, they break down.
Yeah.
Is it an inferior manager going to be able to tinker with these players and make it work?
Absolutely not.
So why give Pep the money to do it? Yeah. Fire him now.
Might as well move on.
Might as well move on and do your succession plan accordingly.
And, of course, City will now finish the season without a single trophy, and that's for the first time in 7 years?
16 or 17.
Yeah.
Whatever Pep's first year in charge was, they were trophyless.
16.
And they've won a trophy every year since.
Yeah. How about that? And,
so 15, 16, I guess.
And couple that with 12th place Crystal Palace, now playing in Europe.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And-
and you know the worst part? If Manchester United and Tottenham have been so bad, that's not even the story.
Yeah.
12th place Premier League team plays in Europe. Well, how about the 16th and 17th place teams?
Yeah, that and now, depending on where Newcastle and or Chelsea finish, 8th is absolutely in play to go to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
We are very much looking at a potential of 10 English Premier League teams playing in Europe next season.
This would be awesome, man.
Two iconic things go out with a bang. One is a 133-year-old ground, and the other, a 38-year-old goal-scoring shithouser. Everton 2, Southampton 0, Leicester 2, Ipswich 0. We're not going to talk a lot about the Ipswich and Leicester game in this segment. Let's face it. What are we really going to talk about? The grand old lady.
Well, yes, we are going to talk a lot about that. There is one thing about the grand old lady I'd like to bring up when we get to that point. 2 great goals by Njai.
Mm-hmm.
Once the first one goes in, you could feel the relief
Yep.
and the change to festival atmosphere.
And he got the brace.
Especially since Southampton wasn't
Yeah.
it? Especially since they drew City the weekend before. Like, don't fucking ruin this for us.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was interesting.
I love when she panics. She looks at every button. That one.
The producer paying attention
Yeah.
to anything except for our show. She just gave us the thumbs up for that one too. And Jai gets 2. Beto has 2 he could have scored and 2 he was called offsides for.
That he
This
did
game
put in,
could
yeah.
have been 6-7-0
Yeah.
at the end of the first half.
But when
how dominant it was.
when that first Njai goal goes in, you can feel the mood go. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Because Southampton didn't go score.
Yeah.
The only opportunity to ruin the day was a 0-0.
Right, yeah.
So as soon as that went in, it turned, fucking flares and the happiness.
the
you know what I
songs
mean?
and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It was absolute insanity. This is the one thing you have to remember is this is the oldest and first major stadium built in all of England. And around for 133 years. Jesus, I think it was about 2,500 victories, about 700 draws, and around 500 and some odd losses.
Oh, this is 1892, right?
Yeah, thereabouts.
133 years. Mm-hmm. You know who the first goal ever there was?
No, I do not.
A Nottingham Forest player by the wonderfully named Horace Pike.
Mm-hmm.
Scored the first goal in 1792 ever at Goodison Park.
I like that. Very good.
Horace Pike. What a name.
And
Brilliant.
this record will obviously get broken at some point because there are other teams that grounds, like, let's face it, Anfield is going nowhere. They're not going to build them a new stadium. They are always kind of
To redevelop the
Right.
facility, yeah.
So at some point, Anfield will take over this this title. But right now, the most top flight matches ever played in any stadium
In any one stadium, yeah.
is Goodison Park, and also not for nothing, it has seen 8 top flight titles. Everton have seen 9 top flight titles. Why? Because they won the first one at Anfield. Dicks. I'd just like to remind them of that. But the game was about the celebration. It was about
Absolutely was.
It was about seeing out this iconic ground. And what I've had the pleasure to go there and see a match, and you feel everything that's on the field, and the supporters are a complete entity that engulfs that stadium. When they're playing well, there's no one more supportive. When they're playing bad, there's no one more critical.
So I've heard a lot about this today, obviously, because this, for all of us that do this sort of job, right? This was the easiest show to write. Every football podcast I've listened to today has started FA Cup final, Goodison Park, Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, it's
the easiest show to rate of the whole season, right? Because of all of the history that's happening right now.
I had this show written in under an hour.
Exactly. Right. One of those things. So you're going to hear this a lot, as if we're the Associated Press, thing that gets passed around to every news agency. But I loved, because I do love history just in general. There's a lot of things that have come out about Goodison Park this weekend, and when something like this happens, and I feel like it's a good time as well.
Yeah. With
the recent relegation threats, points deductions, bad ownership, there's been a pretty negative atmosphere around there.
Yeah.
And as you say, I've heard a lot of people talking, like proper pundits that have been there many times, talking about the steepness of the stands and how it makes it feel like everyone's right on your back. And that creates either a raucous and joy sort of we're doing well kind of vibe, or that creates a very condescending fuck you and pressurized situation for your own team. Either side of that coin. But we were reminded a lot today from various people that know more than us. Apparently, it was a very prominent venue, of course, as you said, during the 1966 World Cup. It's one of the first kind of somewhat modern but still classic vibe stadiums that were built.
Pele played there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So Pele said it was one of his favorite stadiums. It was in that stadium he became the first player to score in 3 successive World Cups.
Yep.
As well. Eusebio, the Portugal legend, said it was the greatest stadium he had ever played in. So post-playing career, there were obviously stadiums that were built far after.
Of course.
But the way in which they built it in the first place allowed them to modernize to an extent, but it kept that classic old school English ground vibe. And it was also incredibly intimidating. You had the little kind of semi-closed roof, right, with the awnings over everything. That would trap all the noise in. And everybody, like I said, in these steep stands that were just right on your fucking back. Said in the away stand in particular, a journalist that I listened to said that he, when he stood up, he thought he was going to fall onto the pitch. It was so steep. And just what a amazing, wonderful building. And, especially in the last few weeks, I also couldn't think of a more perfect custodian to cross over the line with it than David Moyes. He oversaw, in modern history, the most successful spell at the club.
Nothing better than seeing Seamus Coleman walk the team on the field.
It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I think we've seen the final playing of Seamus Coleman. I think he retires.
But I love the acknowledgement of the history, and I love the fact that, because it didn't come out until this week, that it's going to still be the venue of the ladies team and the upper level youth teams.
Yep, and they're going to use it as a concert venue and things like that. So there's a lot of remodeling that they need to do in it to make it kind of specifically modern and prepared for this. But that is a massive fucking move. You want to talk about putting your money where your mouth is. You could have easily sold that for a lot of money and netted a huge profit, but instead you said, you know what? We believe in our women's program and we want people to come watch.
So what's great is is it Friedkin? Is that how you say it?
Yes.
So the Friedkin group heavily invested in Roma's women when they took Roma over, and it's a wonderful thing. It doesn't seem like what I'm trying to say is a lot of Premier League clubs have made token gestures of investing in the women's clubs, but they actually don't care about them. There's a few that do. Everton have, obviously.
Like Wolverhampton actively fuck their women's team despite them having success.
Right. But Arsenal and Chelsea women have invested in their women tremendously, right? That's why Arsenal are the only ones that have ever won a quadruple. Chelsea's women have won the Women's Champions League, once or twice. So it's, you have certain clubs that are doing it kind of the right way. But then other clubs are making kind of token gestures. Oh, yeah, we built them a 12,000 capacity stadium. It's fine, which to them was a fucking pocket money.
Right.
And, whatever. But this is a huge gesture, and Friedkin has a history of actually putting his money where his mouth is when it comes to women's football. So that's very cool, and it preserves the history. Goodison Park, after 133 years, is still hosting fucking football.
Yeah.
It's just the people that opened it are gone, which is sad.
Right.
And it is sad to see it go in that capacity. But it's got a new birth and a re-life in women's and youth football, which is a huge, big deal. That's awesome. And it just adds to the legacy of a wonderful building.
And when it goes to PSR2, it's only helps, doesn't hurt. Right,
because you own the property. Yeah,
anything. Well, it doesn't go against PSR numbers and things of that nature. And if you're bringing in revenue, that only helps make your youth program more, and you can invest more into that and into your training grounds. So you just there's more you can do with that. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't hurt you.
Right,
like, you don't get financially held for that. You can. Because they want more clubs to be doing this, which is great to see. A few fun things after the match had concluded. Obviously, the players taking the field, certain people getting send-offs. Like, obviously, it's pretty sure that, Decore is not coming back, and players like that, because there's going to be a lot of changes.
There's going to be a huge changeover, yeah.
They had a violinist play Zed Cars.
My heart will go on.
To play Zed Cars to start the festivities. Nice. You could have heard a flute pin drop.
Yeah. I bet.
And then they also had a band out there, and whoever was still could make it from the 85 team all sang Spirit of the Blues.
Nice.
They had players doing interviews and talking about things, and the one that really hit home, they asked Duncan Ferguson what goals does he remember the most, and he said always scoring against the big clubs. Like, I remember my first goal against Liverpool in this building. I remember it vividly. I remember my first goal against Manchester United. And then he stops. He goes, "Oh, by the way, kids, Manchester United used to be a big club." Nice. And that perfect little bit of shithousery leads us into the king, the goat, as it were, of shithousery, Jamie motherfucking Vardy.
That's right.
It had been announced that this would be his final match, that he would not be playing in the final match of the season on the road, that he would be playing only this one. Why is that, Mr. Graham?
Because he wanted an even 500.
500
and it's their last match at home, obviously.
500, and of course, we all knew. We knew it was going to happen.
He said he knew it was going to happen in the post-match.
And he scores goal number 200, and in traditional Jamie motherfucking Vardy form, runs immediately over to the away section, fans, grabs the
corner flag
and holds it up in the air and gawks in front of all the away fans, because that is the shit house he is. And when they interviewed him afterwards, he goes, "Yeah, I heard them giving me some lips, so the minute the ball went in the back of the net, I knew exactly where I was going."
Yeah. It's your final game for the club. You've been there for 13 years. You were the first non-league player to command over £1 million transfer fee, and you've scored in 40% on average of every game you've played at the club. A nice even 200 and 500 appearances.
Yep.
Right? And he decides, nah, I ain't going to support with that lot.
Yeah.
Taking these cuts on.
I'm going right over to them.
Yeah. The last time I get to celebrate in this stadium with my people, I'm turning it down to be a shithouse.
Just to fuck with all of you. Oh, and by the way, by doing that, they jumped them in the table. So right now, if everything stays the same for the final game of the season, it'll be the first, second, and third place teams that came up will be the
going down
18th,
in the same
19th,
order
and 20th, going down the exact same
cool.
order.
I wonder if that's ever happened before. That's interesting.
I don't think it has.
That's interesting.
I found that very interesting too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what was great too was the side netting when he gathered that ball real quick after a decent run and then slid and hit with his left foot. The first shot he had on target that he didn't really catch was a great run down the channel and, kind of diagonal that he was found in. And then the goal itself, it was a very vintage Jamie Vardy season we won the Premier League performance.
It
was excellent.
Perfect. And really, there is nothing else to say about this game. There is nothing to say about Leicester. There is nothing to say about Ipswich. There's a reason why we're talking about it, and the only reason why we're talking about it is Jamie motherfucking Vardy.
Yeah, 100%. And McAteer, the kid that scored at the end, first goal of the season. I think I'm not sure if he scored. No, because he was in the championship. Mm-hmm. So first Premier League goal, I think. Mm-hmm. Sorry, bud. No one gives a fuck.
Rounding out the rest of the league, and so that happened. Villa 2, Spurs 0, Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0, Forest 2, West Ham 1, Fulham 3, Brentford 2, Arsenal 1, Newcastle 0, Brighton 3, Liverpool 0. All these matches were anything but so that happened.
Well, I was also
Chelsea United.
I was also just about to say 3rd through 7th just got real crowded.
Yeah, divided by 1 fucking point, right? And City has a game in hand, so City can play themselves back into the Champions League. But currently, they're on the outside looking in.
Correct. But yeah, Nottingham Forest are in 7th on 65. City in 6th on 65, as you say, with the game in hand to be played Tuesday. Villa are a point above on 66, and Chelsea and Newcastle are tied with them on 66 with superior goal differentials. It is that's gonna be the last day excitement zone.
When we do it on injury time, that's going to be kind of what we're talking about. And so, should somebody want to find injury time, Mr. Graham, how they go about doing it?
It's quite simple. Before we get into the analysis and this hard-hitting opinions we have, it's patreon.com/DU Football Show. Just sign up to that $5 tier for more hurtful, hateful, and strong opinions.
You are the hoiest of hoes, and I love that about
you. Thanks, bro. If I need a taxi, I don't put my thumb out, okay? I stick my leg to the curb.
Hells yeah, you do.
And point me toe.
Get the attention of the boys.
Like an Instagram model, Mel, Gotta puff the butt out.
Spurs looked interested for about the first 10 minutes, and then it was all Villa.
All Villa.
All Villa. And it was not a if, it was just when were Villa gonna score.
Yeah.
They were just all fucking over them.
I mean, they worked them completely. Tottenham had 2 or 3 attacks at the beginning of each half that lasted, as you said, about 2 minutes and 15 seconds to 3 minutes worth of time.
Yeah, a total of 10 minutes.
So, 6 to 10 minutes total. The other 80 was just Villa butt fucking until they came.
Yeah.
And they finally did.
Yep. And, Villa just,
through unlikely sources as well.
But Villa just keeps doing what they need to do, which is fucking win.
No, just fucking.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Villa does fuck. If it wasn't...
That's why all my references have been sexual so far during this hard-hitting analysis. Hard like a cock, Mel.
and that is what our offense was.
Yes, very much so.
Konza did throw a bit of a limp leg at it, though.
But everyone gets in on the scoring on that team. It doesn't have to be.
It's you know what? They like to do it together, like a group, a gang, if you were.
And they just went bang with all their goals, you know?
Just go bang.
Right there, just bang right in the net.
I mean,
They take turns, which I think is interesting. Sometimes they do it together.
They're a really good team, It's just teammates.
Yeah.
That's what teammates do.
And when someone does come in with a score, he always has a teammate there to give him a good high five.
Here's
low five.
Here's the part that sucks.
Sometimes, if you click the right button.
If Chelsea beat Forest,
and
Newcastle
they're really having
wins,
fun, they go down on their knees,
and City wins both of their games, Villa could be on the outside of Champions League.
Of course,
and they don't deserve to be.
No, absolutely not. But let's just, Villa, it's going to be a very exciting last day of the season. Again, tune into injury time to hear what we actually think is going to happen. But my final thought about this, Tottenham, Daniel Levy a few weeks ago sent out an actual press release for like no one knew what they were talking about to make sure we referred to them as Spurs and not Tottenham.
Right.
Not their neighborhood, which is part of their name, but to refer to them by their nickname, which is Spurs or Tottenham Hotspur. Do the whole name, which, fine. I would like to call them by what they've presented this season, and that's Piper Perry. Because they've been getting fucked.
Chelsea made
and I love
it look
to see it.
a lot harder than they needed it to be.
Chelsea have been shit too, though. Recently, they've gotten over the line by more luck than virtue. But it's United. Yeah. They cashed in the voucher.
Yeah, well, I tell you what,
and they were threatening.
If we're comparing the two, United and Spurs, United at least looked like they were willing to have somewhat of a go, like something, do anything. Like they showed meh.
Well, no, they had the best striker in the world the moment Harry Maguire put one in the back of the net. He just cheated to get there.
Exactly.
And then that prompted that 18-year-old kid to try to cheat in the second half, I'm sure, was to try to win that penalty that VAR called back. So, it was just two piece of shit clubs being pieces of shit. And it ended up that one piece of shit with more money beat the other piece of shit with less money.
I'm feeling like, and we're now going to go right into Forest. I feel like Forest, despite them losing a lot of games and putting themselves in this scenario, them at the City Ground against Chelsea, I feel like they are the better side, and they should probably win this game.
We will see when we get to the bets.
Fucking Forest figure out a way to hang on, and that game was motherfucking chippy.
It got very chippy, oddly.
Particularly at the end where they were just like, Forest was stalling, so the ref kept adding more and more and more time. And then,
but both sets of fans are known for being quite hard. So, that does bleed down into the team sometimes.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. The players try to take on the identity of the fan base in a lot of cases. But I mean, obviously, it's what.
I'm definitely hitting a sex shop if I go to Birmingham.
Find a brothel, more
call.
like it. That's what you need. Areola went from 0 to 0.
And
one of the most
keepers were making a ton of saves, and then
one of the most ridiculous pieces of goalkeeping I've ever seen. Is not known particularly for being a good distributor, like an Ederson type of goal, or David Raya type of goalkeeper who's dribbling about and cutting the ball back, and you might actually feel comfortable with him as a number 10 sometimes. He doesn't have that reputation, yet he decided to drop the shoulder and no look pass to the edge of his own D. Directly to Morton Gibbs Wright.
Yep.
Who just took one touch and fucking ripped it to the back of the net.
In the back of the net. And, of course, the touching scene to hold up Taiwo and Yoi. Amwonyi, sorry.
Who collided with the post, emergency surgery, and had to be put in a medically induced coma due to that surgery. I've not heard an uptate personally. He's awake and fine? Okay, good.
He's awake and responding, so
awesome.
He's at least doing better.
Perfect. But she grabs the shirt, holds it up, touches his heart. That's that's good stuff. But the opening 9 minutes was goalkeeper's heaven. They were both making excellent saves, and it was at 10 minutes and 29 seconds when Areola pulled that bullshit and ruined it.
And then Areola went on and made a few more really good saves.
Yeah,
and
it just he had a moment of he downloaded a update at that time.
This game could have easily been 7-6. The with the saves keepers were making, it was a lot in it. And of course, Bowen getting the goal late to make it very interesting for Forest.
You can't brush over it. What a fucking goal that was. That was phenomenal.
Beautiful.
Little backflip, pop it up to himself, and then bang on the full volley. Come on.
There were a lot of good goals this weekend.
Yeah.
A lot of good goals.
There absolutely were. It was phenomenal.
And then, like I said, at the end of the match, they just, Forest is trying to hang on, right? You just need to get the W, right? You need all 3 points to still be in this conversation. And they were stalling, and West Ham took exception to that, and it just started to become everybody pushing one another. I'm surprised no red cards were handed out because there were a lot of hands in the throats
faces.
and
Yeah.
faces.
Yeah.
And,
It kind of boils over with a 6-minute or whatever it was VAR check. It starts there.
Yeah.
On the Milinkovic go-ahead goal. That did it hit his arm? Did it hit his back? Was he offside? Did the other player that was offside affect the play? I mean, there was like 4 things they were checking, I think. And the frustration of the West Ham players, you could see him start to get like upset. And you knew something was coming because they are fairly confrontational. I mean, what did we see Kudus do earlier this year, right?
Paqueta's known to get.
Yeah, but that
really
exactly.
into it.
Kudus is one of their flair players, and if he's like that, what are the hard men like?
Oh, yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I'm saying, right? So you have this sort of this world's against us kind of view. Then you have this very long. So there's got to be something wrong with it. VAR check. Then there's not, and they award the goal, and then you get like, what the fuck? And then you start getting angry, and then those last 26 minutes, because that was in like the 83rd. Those last 26 minutes after stoppage time there was feisty. It was feisty.
Yeah, like I said,
The referee started in the middle of it and was like, fuck this. Got himself out, just started watching people.
Yep, just waiting to see who fucked up.
And apparently the VAR was the same person that was at Wembley because not a single red card was handed out.
Not a one. I'm surprised there wasn't.
I know, me either.
I have a feeling, well, there's also too, I mean, we'll talk about it with the final game. There was some things in times where the ref, you were just like, you just don't want to hand out a yellow card because, God forbid, you have to give them a second yellow card and they miss their final match of the season kind of thing, you know?
Right.
But again, keeping it rolling, this next game would have opened the show. The West London Derby was motherfucking fantastic.
And it was played like a proper derby as well.
The Bees and the Cottagers fucking went at it. Like, another goal for Raul Jimenez.
Another bullying header as well. I mean, just barreling somebody over and fucking making that ball his.
This game was when we got to see good Adama Traore, right? Who's booming down the sides and putting in great crosses.
Until he gave up the equalizer. When he had that weird kind of, I'm going to try to chest it, but I bench too much weight and it just flies off my chest to the opposition.
Yeah, exactly.
That was an odd decision.
Well, and
should have thied it.
And then Bees take the lead, and they go up 2-1. You're like, all right, the Bees should see this out in their building. And
well, but didn't the penalty happen first?
Yeah.
So they should have. And Buemo kind of telegraphed his penalty, didn't strike it well.
His first penalty miss.
And Leno couldn't save a goddamn thing for Arsenal when he was with us penalty wise. I think he was 0 for.
His first penalty save at Fulham is what they said.
Yeah, because he sucks at penalties.
Yeah.
But again, it was a comfortable height and it wasn't far enough into the corner. You know? So it just felt like Brentford, like, you know, obviously when Fulham takes the lead, you think back to that moment. And you go, well, that would have changed the whole tide. They'd have been up 2-0 or 2-1 or whatever it was. And they could have, you know, if everything else stays the same, go up 3-1 and then nothing else happens.
I guarantee you Brentford supporters have nightmares about Carney. He scored the one in the promotion match, the free kick, but
Tom Kearney now is very slow. He's 34 years old, and they haven't offered him a new contract yet.
Yeah.
But the manager, he's outwardly said he wants to stay, and the manager has come out and said, "I hope the club, feel we're all going in the same direction still and re-sign him."
Yeah.
So he's come out publicly against his employers potentially,
Right?
Because there has been no contract offer yet.
And be like, sign him on a 1 year
Off the bench to man of the match.
Yeah.
You know, and remember Tom Kearney was the guy that cracked his who was the Serbian that went to Saudi. The former Newcastle striker. Nope.
Mitrovic. Yeah.
Tom Kearney struck a ball so hard in training, I think it was. Didn't he crack Milinkovic's windshield?
Mitrovic's
windshield. Mitrovic's windshield?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just a brilliant player and a wand of a left foot.
And then you have Harry Wilson, who whenever you start him can't do a fucking thing, but you bring him in the last 80 minutes, that fucker seems to score every single time. And just...
But a 25-yard bomb as well.
What a hit.
Yeah. It's like the last 6 goals for him have all just been either elegant or shotgun shells.
Mm-hmm. And then that now, because of what happened today, Fulham need a lot of help. They're probably out of it now because of Brighton's win.
Well, especially with who everyone plays on the final day as well.
In fact, they are out of it because of Brighton's win. Because Brighton won, they're out of it. But Brentford and the Cherries still have a chance if they rattle off 2 wins. So,
right.
But the Bees have now let Brighton get in front of them. And as I told you on Injury Time last week, I said Brighton's going to get the opportunity to see what Brentford does first. But before we get into that match, which finished out today, got to talk about not the prettiest scoring match, but again, Arsenal and Newcastle just don't fucking like each other, man.
Nah, it was a bit chippy
like
as well.
each other. And you know, Raya bailing you out a ton, even when he was the one causing the fucking problems.
Especially in the first half there. We kind of settled in the second half and they didn't give up as many opportunities, controlled a little bit more of the play. But that first half, again, it was just like Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
At first 25 minutes was all Newcastle.
I loved the commentary when he made the double save early on. They were like, yeah, it was a great double save. He's the reason why he had to make the double save.
Yeah, it was fucking idiot. But no, it was, you know, it was a good game. They were more physical per usual.
Mm-hmm.
But Arsenal stood up to them in the right way and at the right time, I think.
Yeah.
They were able to distance themselves from any cards and, you know, kind of largely stayed out of trouble. It was, and what a fucking goal. I mean, that technique on Rice's first time strike from the Odegaard pass.
Yep.
To get it to the other side of the goal with that amount of whip and still be on target is a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
A very difficult thing to do. This game also was important for both of us. This is now clinches us Champions League.
Yeah, you're in Champions
Right.
League.
So while everybody
a lot would have had to go wrong on the last day for you
Correct.
to not be in Champions League.
Correct.
But it guaranteed you for Champions
this definitely guaranteed us and makes it party atmosphere last day of the season.
Right.
We're not in the FIFA, we're not in the Club World Cup, so we'll be able to rest and be ready. We've already got 2 signings to announce when the window opens. We'll be able to see you guys and go take a nap.
Very good.
Last day of the season rather than worried about making it.
Brighton and Liverpool was just a great game of great fucking goals. And
Yeah.
it was, frankly, it was really a fun fucking watch, man. It was a fun game to watch.
Jared Bowen's goal was
Not Bowen.
goal a week.
For West Ham. Yeah.
Soboslai's giving him a run for his money here.
That was such a good goal.
Harry Wilson's giving him a run for his money with the way they
yeah.
struck that ball. I don't know what the physics behind Soboslai's goal is. I don't know if I'm capable of doing that math, but it was fucking brilliant.
But
And it seemed to defy the law of physics.
Brighton's first goal, the 1-2s, the quick passing that led to oh my god.
Oh, and that was the
third goal for the kid that came on as a sub, like Matoma's goal, like fucking the foot above his head kicks it into the ground and ricochets it into the near
But the ball was also behind him.
Yeah, just like
It was super athletic.
fucking
It wasn't
ridiculous.
Was it West Ham that had a goal ruled out? That was a slick, like gorgeous passing move. There was a couple of really good footballing moves this weekend. But you go, my favorite was, and this happened in another game as well. I can't remember which one it was, but the absolute perfect corridor of uncertainty pass. Right? First time from left to right with the left foot, because it's always difficult to pick up where a left footer's putting the ball because most people aren't. You don't come up against it terribly often. No defender can touch it because he's putting it in his own net. It's fizzed across the edge of that 6-yard box or just inside the edge of that 6-yard box. Goalkeeper can't come for it because what if somebody sticks a boot out? He's done for. Yeah. So he leaves it. And Hinshelwood on the back end with just a tidy, lovely finish. And it wins the fucking game against the champions.
No. I'm just pointing out, know that your volume's all the way down when you decide to unmute somebody. Yeah, okay. That's all. That's what I was looking at. I didn't want you to unmute it.
All right.
And
thanks for that.
And frankly,
but it was O'Reilly.
She now has to edit, so she's.
I know. It's very funny.
Sorry, I had to make you produce something, producer.
Brighton still has some tidying up to do with their defense, though.
Oh,
I mean,
of course.
Liverpool did play a couple of very good chances from some slick moves that I think could have been relatively easily stopped. Just a missed assignment here or there. But one of the other most brilliant moments is one that's not going to be remembered. The long ball from whoever the left back was it Andy Robinson in this game? I can't remember. Whoever that played that ball, might have been McAllister actually, would have been wide left, little deep though. Played that ball to Salah for one of Liverpool's goals. That cushioned left foot into Connor Bradley's path. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to remember it. It's one of the touches of the season.
Yeah,
just
perfect.
It was a 65-yard pass played to him, and he dinked off a little 12-yard floater that Connor Bradley didn't even have to break his stride. Gets into the box and cuts back for Harvey Elliott. It was the opening goal to open the scoring.
Yep.
It was a fucking brilliant ball.
I tell you, all fucking 5 goals were fucking fantastic. They
great.
were great goals. It was an entertaining game, and it meant fuck all other than the Seagulls are now in 8th place and
in charge of their own destiny, I think, though, right?
Well,
no, Bournemouth, because they have the game in hand.
They're in charge of their own destiny to finish in 8th. Does that equal Europe or not? All depends on what Newcastle and or Chelsea do.
Sure money.
Well, things didn't go my way again.
Shocker.
So I am at the risk of going 2 successive seasons without winning a fucking bet for the show.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know that.
So do you want me to read mine or not?
Well, we'll go ahead and read yours after Taylor does his thing, you know?
All right.
You know, because Taylor did exactly what I wanted him to do, which was lose the bet that he made, which ensured that Everton will finish above both Tottenham and Manchester United this season in the standings.
Okay.
Which is fucking fantastic.
It is nice.
Hi, Taylor.
Greetings, gentlemen. Yeah, I would like to clarify. I appreciate you understanding that. Yeah, I don't think I'm overstating it when I say I single-handedly guaranteed that Everton will finish with United and Tottenham. So my bet lost.
I
But
take total credit for that. Yeah.
I think the footballing world as a whole was the big winners here. So
Very much so. So
and,
where do we?
even with that, you are still positive, Sam. I mean, you're so positive. I'm going to have to start calling you Magic Johnson.
Oh, damn!
See, Graham, back in the 80s, before you were born, there's this basketball player, and his name was Magic Johnson.
What
But
is this? Is this an audition?
His Johnson wasn't actually magic, so he kind of never mind.
All right. What do
Can
you?
we
So
get
yes,
Pat
you are
back?
still up. You are still up $303.
Mm-hmm.
And Graham, did you know that 22.22222% of the time
Fuck me.
it works 100% of the time?
You're damn right it does, Taylor.
So last week I had Tottenham and United winning away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, winning away or losing away. Excuse me.
Right.
No, good God. Never mind. Let me put this drink down. I had Tottenham and United winning away. Mel will take care of that for me. I know she wants me to sound good.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
No, I'm not.
Well, then fuck you too. Anyway, this week I have them losing at home. So
Okay.
give me Brighton to be over Tottenham. Give me Aston Villa over United. And I can't wait to see at least one of these two fan bases, should that occur, are going to be raining down the booze like crazy, which would be fun as well. So
Mm-hmm.
if that doesn't hit and either one of those teams get a point, that'd make a fucking bit of difference. They ain't going to finish above Everton. So,
That's right. Very true.
if
all that matters
it
to
does,
us.
100%. Now, if it does hit, we'd be looking at, what did I say here? It's going to be plus 203. And like I said, if it doesn't hit, then
Do you know what that
then,
squeaky
you're
sound
still,
is in the background? That's the brakes.
Well, you know,
They've all come off.
No, that's the brakes being hit because the show is just officially stopped.
So, Taylor.
So anyway, so wolves have no natural predator. So how's it going in your world? Anyway, well, Mel, thanks for the support. I appreciate you. Let me just say this though: it's a grand old team to play for. It's a grand old team to support.
And
if you know your history is enough to make
your heart go.
Wolf.
Okay, no, I'm hanging up on that one. You want me to hang up a long time ago?
Yeah,
and I was like, no. I was gonna play it out, and then he starts singing the song. And
When I do the how's it going in your world, and you're supposed to hang up on him, and you like.
I wanted to see where you was going with it.
Lean into the crazy
I know.
sometimes.
Sometimes you just want to see how far is Nick Blades gonna go.
Graham, been leaning into the crazy for 18 years of fucking marriage, okay?
And it's worked out pretty good for you so far.
It's
debatable.
Yeah. All right, so you went from a
Really?
plus 3-digit situation, right? At plus 203. Mine
I'm
has
at plus 303.
Mine has a few more digits in it.
Okay,
I
go
am
for it.
plus 24,956.
Okay.
Because despite me about to be going
for
76, right? Tradition is tradition, and I've bet
9-way parlay.
I've bet 10. I've bet every game on the final day.
Very good.
I cannot, and I tried to bet all 12, as I tried to include the midweek. You cannot bet on the same team in different games on the same ticket.
Got it. Okay.
On our apps.
Got it.
I'm sure we could do it on the full service,
right?
But on the apps, it won't let you. So I couldn't do that. So I did do the final day. I placed a $1 bet, and apparently the bookies like it because they're offering me a cash out right now of only a 10% loss at 90 cents.
Wow.
If they don't like what you've put in, they'll offer you like 52 to cash out pre-action.
Right.
So my dollar is worth only a 10% loss to me in their eyes. It would pay out $250.56.
Got it.
So you know. I have Arsenal to beat Southampton. They will. I have Newcastle to beat you all. They will. Also, it's at Newcastle, and they have something to play for.
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest to beat Chelsea. Chelsea aren't very good. Nottingham Forest have a lot to play for, and they really want that Champions League bug. I think they're going to do it, and they're at the City Ground. I have Villa to beat United, something to play for. United does not. Either way the Europa League final goes, they'll either be terribly disappointed and won't want to play, or they'll be jubilant and won't want to play.
Yeah, right.
So Aston Villa takes care of them at Old Trafford. They're also shit at Old Trafford. Manchester City to beat Fulham. Sorry, Fulham. City have something to play for. Because if they're not in the Champions League, you could probably add 6 to 8 more charges on the end of those 131 we're never going to hear about. Bournemouth to beat Leicester. Leicester don't give a fuck, and they also don't have Jamie Vardy. And it's in Bournemouth, and they think could still do something with some help.
If they beat City over the midweek, and then they have a chance.
Correct. Liverpool to beat Crystal Palace. They will want to lift the Premier League trophy on their home turf with a on the back of a celebration, not on the back of a weird defeat to Palace.
Palace
also,
don't care.
Palace don't fucking care. They can't improve their situation in the league anyway, and they're already qualified for Europe with their FA Cup win.
Yeah,
they're
12th
just going to
place.
go out there and fuck around.
Same thing if Wolves don't get any. If Wolves don't win all 3 points against Palace in the midweek, Everton are automatically 13th. It doesn't matter what happens. That's
Right.
where they are. So there's a lot of that for a lot of teams.
Yep, Brentford to beat Wolves, something to play for, obviously, with the possibility of the Conference League. Brighton to beat Tottenham for the same reason.
Something to play for.
And then Ipswich or draw with West Ham because Ipswich have been the only promoted club that have cared at all.
And it's in their building.
And it's in their building, and they'll want to show their fans that they still care. And West Ham can't seem to get up for anything.
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up, boys and girls.
$1 to pay $2.50.
Yeah, I know.
That'd be sweet if it is.
Any parting words, Mr. Graham?
I don't think so, no. Congrats to Jamie Vardy. Congrats to Goodison Park. And I am super happy that the legacy will continue, just in a different way, but an awesome way. It's a pretty fucking cool thing y'all decided to do.
If you are local, get out and watch the final day. It's great. Go where there's a ton of TVs. I know if any of you want to meet the Ipswich crew, they'll be at Eat, which is egg rolls and tacos. They'll have every single game on, and West Ham is coming across the harbor in a boat to invade their bar. You have, I know, the Mobtown Magpies will be at the Abbey in Mount Vernon. We will, of course, be, well, myself and Melissa. You'll probably be at home, I imagine, with all the kids.
I'm sure.
We will be at the Dark Horse in Annapolis. They have all the games will be on. There's a ton of TVs.
I've heard the Perch has a ton of TVs too. I'm not sure if they're showing everything, but our boys at Charm City Gooners will be at the Perch.
Oh, get out and watch.
You may just only be able to watch the Arsenal game.
Yeah, get out and watch the matches today. So, Mel, did you have something for us?
It's going to be very cool.
I was going to say at the Dark Horse is where things like, business happens, and there's mixers and meetings and greetings.
Yeah, there's lots of that.
Lots of pocket sliders too.
Yeah,
they have sliders that are perfectly pocket shaped.
That is where the pocket slider came from.
That's why I said it. Thanks, Sam. It's called a callback.
Very well done.
You do it all the time to 1974 when I can't help you.
So, next up is injury time. There will be no EFL show this week. We will do one next week to wrap up who all won all their playoff situations. Although we will say Blades and Sunderland, and in the championship to see who goes up, we've got Leyton Orient and Charlton in League One to see who goes up to the championship. And it is Wimbledon and Wassel in the League Two final. So that's what will happen, and we will talk about that next week. But next up is injury time, where we're going to preview the final week of the season. We're going to talk about the beers we were drinking, and of course, check in on our fantasy teams. Mr. Graham, should somebody want to check out injury time, how do they go about doing it?
It's patreon.com/The Football Show. Just sign up to that $5 tier, and you'll get all that extra content, and sometimes more.
Till next week, everybody.